Okay guys, we're going to continue with section 4 of chapter 10. So now we're going to branch away from what we've had before was a circle where the angle they gave us formed from the center. We call this a central angle. Or sometimes we had a circle where they just gave us a chord and that did not go through the center, but we were able to figure out information about the arcs and things like that. So now we're coming up with this new term called an inscribed angle and an intercepted arc. Okay, so let's look at the visual to see what that entails. I want to clear that real quickly. Okay, so let's read it first. An inscribed angle is an angle whose vertex is on a circle, okay, and whose sides contain chords of the circle. So for instance, if we look at our picture here, this vertex is on the circle. It has this ray and this ray. Okay, it also has sides that contains chords of the circle. Well, that makes sense. This is a chord of the circle and this is a chord of the circle. Okay, so this angle here, as they written in red, is an inscribed angle. So this is my inscribed angle right here. Angle B is an angle ABC rather is an inscribed angle. All right, now the arc that lies between two lines, rays, or segments is called an intercepted arc. So what they have highlighted in blue here is my intercepted arc. So this arc AC is an intercepted arc in this case, okay? Now, the last thing they say is if the endpoints of a chord or arc lie on the sides of an inscribed angle, then the chord or arc are said to subtend the angle. Now, we're not going to talk about that too much, but just so you've heard it, they say here that AC, arc AC subtends angle B. That's what they're saying. Okay, so let's look at what they said again. Angle B intercepts arc AC. Okay, so this is my inscribed angle. This is my intercepted arc, like an interception. Arc AC subtends angle B. We just said that. In segment AC, this chord subtends angle B as well. It says here if endpoints of a chord or an arc, and so they gave us both scenarios. Okay, now let's apply that. Now one thing I want to really emphasize is, like I started out with, when we did these lessons at the beginning, earlier in the chapter, we were dealing with angles that always originated from the center, and they were known as central angles. Now these inscribed angles do not originate from the center. They have their vertex, like it starts out, the vertex is on the circle. So the vertex is somewhere on this circle. It does not go through the center. Now that's not to say that the chord can't go through the center. We can go ahead, sorry about that. We could have, if this is my center point, I could have the chord going through the center, but my vertex itself for an inscribed angle is always going to be on the circle. Okay, lots of words, lots of I words, but let's see what this actually comes to show us. So I'm going to, there's a theorem coming up called the measure of an inscribed angle theorem, and we're going to look at it real fast. I have a visual because I think these work best. All right, so notice we have two angles drawn in. They have the red angle, which is our central angle, and then they also have the blue angle, which is our inscribed angle. Okay, now what we know in the past, and I can write on here. We're going to do it like this. What we know from the past is that this arc here, CD, is the same measure of this angle. This is 88 degrees. Okay, we know that. Now, look at, they've already filled in the measure of our inscribed angle. It's 44 degrees. Look at that. So, it's this intercepted arc is intercepted from the central angle, but it's also an intercepted arc from our new inscribed angle. So this arc is shared between both angles. If it's a central angle, the values are the same. But what's the relationship whenever it's an inscribed angle? What I'm saying here is, what's the connection between this 88 degrees and this number here, 44? And I think that's a nice easy one. It's pretty obvious that they are this 1/2, right? Now let's move this around and see if we get the same thing. Let's go to 70. Okay, look at the angle down here. Angle B is 35 degrees. So it appears that our inscribed angle is going to be half the measure of our central angle, or if we're talking about the arc, of our intercepted arc, just this arc CD. And if we look at it, isn't angle B a lot smaller, more narrow than angle CAD, right? It's a lot more narrow, so that makes sense. All right, now here's another look at it. Let's see if I can get up. Okay, there's a lot of lines on this one, but they kind of are showing the same thing. So here's a central angle, okay? And I can move this around kind of as I so choose. Now here is my inscribed angle. It's definitely a lot smaller. Now let's look at this. What they're going to show me is they're going to show that technically, if I would go ahead and if I could pull this up, this is 54.94 degrees and 54.94 degrees. So just like we saw before, the inscribed angle is half of the central angle, and I show that kind of here with showing how it's made up. That's what all those dotted lines are, of two. These two angles make up, if we double this one here, it shows up here. So this one angle is made up of two of the inscribed. All right, if that was more confusing than needed, that's okay. I just like people to see different visuals of what's happening. But here's the theorem, just in its plain and simple form. They say that the measure of angle ADB is equal to half of the intercepted arc, okay, and vice versa. Okay, so the measure of an inscribed arc is 1/2 the measure of the intercepted arc. We're going to overlook the proof right now. If that's something you want to look at because you love proofs, then let me know. But remote learning makes it a little tricky. All right, find the indicated measure here. So the measure of angle T. So they want this angle right here. Well, I see that the intercepted arc is 48 degrees, so the inscribed angle is going to be 24 degrees. So this angle right in here is 24 degrees. Now they'd like the measure of arc QR. Okay, so QR is right here. All right, well, I can't figure that out as it is because it's not from an inscribed angle or a central angle, but I can focus on the fact that this is given to me. This is an inscribed angle, and if this is 50 degrees, then this here is going to be 100 degrees, right? Okay. Because again, this angle is half whatever the arc was. Okay, so like we saw on this one, our arc was 48, so this angle is half of that. Okay, so if this is 50, that angle is 100 degrees. Now with that in mind, again, we're still looking for QR, but I can go ahead and figure it out since QR and QT all fall along that diameter. That means this entire arc here is really a semicircle. So the measure of arc QR must be 80 degrees. Okay, it's a lot to comprehend, so feel free to take it slow and look at it over again. We're going to do a little bit more and then we'll pause and do another video for this lesson in a minute. Find the measure of an intercepted arc. So find the measure of arc RS. So they want this arc here. So what I'm actually going to focus on is this inscribed angle. You tell me that's 31 degrees, so my arc must be double 62 degrees. So the measure of, I wrote the wrong thing. The measure of arc RS is equal to 62 degrees. And they want the measure of angle STR. The measure of angle STR, this angle here. Well, notice that this arc SR was intercepted by this angle, and it's also intercepted by that angle. So since that's 62, this is going to have half of that value, or 31 degrees. So the measure of angle STR is 31 degrees. So they say, what do you notice about angle STR and angle RUS rather? This angle and this angle, they're congruent. They're the same, and that brings us to our next theorem. If two inscribed angles of a circle intercept the same arc, then the angles are congruent. If two inscribed angles of a circle intercept the same arc, so this angle here intercepts this arc, this angle here intercepts this arc, then that means this angle is congruent to that angle. Okay? All right, we're going to take a look at the rest here. Given the measure of angle E being 75 degrees, find the measure of angle F. Well, this intercepted arc here, GH, is going to be double 150. And if I look at it, that looks approximately 150, right? knowing that half of a circle, and they don't give us the center, but half of a circle is 180, so that's a logical answer. So if you ever think, do I take half of 75 or do I double it, look at it visually and see what makes most sense. All right, but moving on, since this intercepted arc is also from that inscribed angle, then this angle here, measure of angle GFH, or just measure of angle F, is going to also be 75 degrees. And we could have just applied that theorem because they share a common intercepted arc. Okay? All right, 3 more for now. So find the measure of the red arc or angle. They want the measure of angle G. They tell me the intercepted arc is 90, so the measure of angle G is 45 degrees. And number 2, they want the measure of an arc. So they tell me the inscribed angle, because it's on the circle, is 38. So I'm going to double that, and I'm going to say the measure of arc TV is going to be 76 degrees. Sorry. Okay. All right, and the last one, the measure of angle X or ZXW is going to be, because they share a common intercepted arc, the 2 inscribed angles are going to be congruent, so it will also be 72 degrees. Okay? All right, we're going to pause there, and we'll pick up the rest of this lesson in another video. Great work!